Ay, ay, ay. Hello, my fam. Perez Hilton here. On Tuesday, a rally was held outside of the assisted care facility where Wendy Williams is currently living against her will in New York City. And while people outside were advocating for the Free Wendy movement, inside, the former talk show host gave an interview on the phone to People magazine. And once again, hearing her words unedited, she's not well. That's all. I'm not saying she should stay in the guardianship. I'm just saying I'm sad for her. I wish that she would be free from the guardianship and everything would be magically better, but I don't think that's going to happen. I will tell you what Wendy said, but first, what I think should happen is Wendy should be free from the guardianship and her money should be protected. Set her up in a trust, have a person overseeing her finances that are not her family, but let her family who wants to take care of her take care of her. Let her travel. Let her do whatever she wants. Especially now that we know Wendy initially entered this guardianship back in 2022 voluntarily. She thought that it was going to just be a financial guardianship because the bank went to a judge to say that she was being financially exploited. Her son had misappropriated a lot of her money. And at the time, Kevin Hunter Jr. had power of attorney over Wendy. She's now been in this setup for 3 years. She's been staying at the assisted care facility in New York for almost a year. And she calls it a luxury prison. She is very unhappy there. Based on a diagnosis from a doctor that she got, the judge in her guardianship declared Wendy legally incapacitated. She has denied this. However, Sabrina Morrissey, the woman who is her guardian, conservator, different word, same thing, Sabrina did go to court saying that she will have more testing done to see if her condition has changed. However, in a new statement, also to People magazine, Sabrina Morrissey says the following, quote, medical testing, including an MRI brain scan and neuropsychological assessment, had been scheduled for Miss Williams. The court directed that the testing be completed in March. Miss Williams has declined to participate in the testing to date, and therefore the testing was not completed. Wendy's family has gotten her a medical advocate who helped organize that stunt of calling 911 and taking her to a local hospital where she was assessed there. However, the cognitive test at the hospital was not as extensive as what she would have done if she had participated, but she has declined to do any further testing. At the hospital where they saw her last month, it was just 10 basic questions. However, she did answer all 10 correctly, so she was having a good day with her dementia, or perhaps her dementia is not that far advanced. A source, Sabrina, tells People, quote, Sabrina is ready to reschedule the scans and appointments as soon as Wendy is ready to participate. I'm sure that Wendy and her medical advisor and her family don't want any more testing because they're worried about what the results will reveal to the judge. They're probably hoping that this latest rudimentary assessment at the hospital last month will be enough. I just don't think running away from the truth, whatever that may be, is the answer. As I've stated, Even if she has dementia, I think she should be released from this guardianship. Wendy is only 60 years young. She still has potentially many, many decades to live. Wendy tells people that she's not aware of the Guardian's claim that she has opted out of recent testing. Wendy says, I don't know anything about that bullsh. I am open to what I am open to, and I can't talk about it right now. So what can she talk about? Well, of the protest that happened outside her window on Tuesday, Wendy said, quote, they have posters and t-shirts. I'm standing here and looking out the window because I like things like that. I love nothing better than to stop and pose. It's nice to see regular people, but it's even more important at this time in my life to see media. At this point in life, I can't trust a lot of people, and I can't even get into who I can't trust, but there are people that, oh my gosh, I can't trust them as far as I can throw them. Williams tells people that the most important thing she's questioning is why she's still in a guardianship. Why am I still a ward? It's been too dang long. She asserts that it's long overdue for her to get out of the legal situation and calls the memory unit she's living in an effing dump. Adding, quote, I need you know everything I do right here in this bedroom, in this bed. That said, she is feeling optimistic with the recent groundswell of support from fans. She says, it will absolutely 1000% happen, she says, of ending the guardianship. When I get out of the situation, I'm staying in New York where I'm comfortable. Also, I can't wait to fall in love. I will not lie about that. I'll be in New York and I'll be flying, and I would love to go back to Paris. The food is good. I am gorgeous. I am successful at what I've done. I'm successful so far. What's going on in my life, despite what you might think, I mean, everything isn't peaches and cream, but there's some roses over here, darling. And of her son, whom I mentioned a little bit ago, Wendy says, I can't stand when people talk about my son and me, and when people say certain things like, I have attorneys, and I have this, and I have that. Listen, let me tell you something. Unless you hear from me, or my niece Alex, or my friend Suzanne Bass, or anybody in my family, that's the real me. Williams says that if anybody else is doing the talking on her behalf, it's stupid BS. She then got emotional reflecting on her recent visit to South Florida for her father's birthday. He turned 94. She started crying during the People interview on Tuesday, and she added, quote, well, look, I cry, but I get up and I fight. You know what I'm saying? That's my motto. That's a good motto, Wendy. If she doesn't agree to the medical testing, though, I think the judge might use that as an excuse to just keep her in the guardianship. I hope not. Ay, ay, ay. Thoughts on this all? Let's discuss in the comment section.